Yo, what's up? Brandon from Asian Talks, and is Yu-Gi-Oh a dying game? That's one question that I've been thinking of for quite some time, and even have more people ask me, hey Brandon, what do you think of the game of Yu-Gi-Oh you used to play? Do you think it's dying or not? You know, there are all these pendulums, XYZs, synchros I actually got into until I eventually got out of Yu-Gi-Oh myself, and trying to get back into the game, I want to get all these things that are not meta into meta. If you guys do not know, I do have a Yu-Gi-Oh channel. It's the cap at all caps THE the Five-Headed Dragon. I know it's a really dumb name, but hey, Five-Headed Dragon was my OG Ultra, so I had to make the channel name from something, and I was gonna do it from the first like Ultra Hollow that I had. So there you go. That's the story. But in my opinion, I'd say that Yu-Gi-Oh is not necessarily a dying game. There are tons of other card games I can name out there that do look like they're on the point of giving up because they're pointing out all these really simple, cliched ideas that already come off from other card games, or it just goes off from the story and they just give the new mechanic because they just need something new. And whether that something is bad or boring or not, I mean, that's just up to you to decide. But to the company, it's ingenious and it might work out, which it does. In Yu-Gi-Oh, everyone dropped because of synchros, because you not only needed to match up the levels, which is something that Rituals originally did not have to do, and Fusions were just to mesh up anything, and then with Contact Fusion after GX, synchros also had tuners, and they're like, well, I don't want to play another type of monster. So people I've seen quit because of synchros, but honestly, 5Ds and GX were my fave, so no hate on synchros, man. And plus, they were white. I mean, seeing a white card, that looked awesome. XYZs, I predicted it'd be black, and of course it is. XYZs were very nice, especially with the fact that you overlay two levels on top of each other that are the same levels, and there are so many cards out there that are old and new that can manipulate levels. So getting your XYZs are pretty much the simplest things other than fusions, because of Contact Fusion sometimes, and Rituals are nice, but Synchros and XYZs I understand. Now this is where the big part comes in. Everybody says the game is falling just because of this new thing. It's not really new. It's been out for about 2.5 years, I think. Pendulums. You guys know what I'm talking about. The half monster, half spell and shiz, and I know there's going to be one for monster and trap soon, most likely, but I don't know how in the world that's going to work, unless it's like Artifacts or Silver Sentinel or some crap like that. Miracle Synchro Fusion text. But Pendulums I would not say is necessarily ruining the game. It's really speeding it up. If you take a look at Cardfight Vanguard, they're very unoriginal in some things, such as the Stride Zone. And anyone who's played Yu-Gi-Oh way before Vanguard, which I know in my Vanguard community, almost everybody came from Yu-Gi-Oh. Some people are just original to the game and that's all they played, but other people, they've all come from Yu-Gi-Oh! And they're like, we're gonna get a Stride Zone? I'm like, what is that? It's an extra deck. Bushiroad and Konami just made like their own secret love child, and then boom, crack it open, you have Strides, extra deck, and all that stuff, and it all relates. And then they're getting all this from Bushiroad to Konami that, hey, if Bushiroad already had a frickin' 8-card Stride Zone, now increased to 16, which is just about one over the extra deck limit in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can Yu-Gi-Oh! Get something like that? And it's like, Konami's debating about it right now, and they have been for a while because fans have always been asking, like, hey, everyone wants to keep these decks and like all these new supports and whatnot. There's just not much space. So Konami's thinking of expanding their, I don't really want to say main deck stuff, because I know people are all about just playing 40 cards in the minimum, and they're definitely not going to lower the minimum you can play because that's just stupid. So yeah, man, increase the extra deck. Yeah, please give that to me. I mean, I'm a Karakuri player and I can use all the synchros and Xyzs, man. But overall, no, I do not think it's a dying game, as you guys have heard before. Pendulums definitely make it faster. If you guys do not know how pendulums work, they basically have two numbers on the sides, very edges, and it's like blue and red, or red and blue, whatever. And if you have, they're called scales, and if you put one on one end and the other on the other, you can summon, special summon any monsters from your hand, and your extra deck, I believe, that's levels are equal to, I don't know if they're equal to or not, but I mean, they have to be in between the scales. So if you have one scale that's 2 and the other one that's like 9, you can special summon any monsters that are between 2 and 9, and that's awesome. Pull off all these many plays. You know, of course, you're going to be losing your hand most of the time because you're just throwing up all your monsters, and because when you pendulum summon, it all counts as like one summon, so if they bottomless or solemn, all that shit's going to go gone. But, I mean, for something that really neat and quote-unquote somewhat broken, which is what many people say, it has its major fallbacks, which is stuff like that. But that stuff is not really played as much anymore, except for all the solemns and crap. So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want to look out for. But other than that, this game is pretty solid. It's definitely gotten faster. Slowed down, not really. Getting really hard in terms of, let's say, expenses, maybe, because with all this stuff about pendulums and all the new support and monsters and how the game is changing, the game is just supposed to be extremely fast now, and you're supposed to like beat someone on the very first turn. So I can see how some of the new cards and whatnot, especially when they're revived, since Konami is super slow when it comes down to this, because Konami has the really, 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 really bad habit of making cards in a manga or anime that do not exist in real life, and they will not release that type of card with that effect until eons later. That's simply because, I mean, there's no blame for that. They don't want a card like that to be that broken in that current meta when it was, you know, debuting in that anime or manga. So I understand why they're just cutting back on that time, but sometimes I think it's going back way too slow. So, that's pretty much it for this video, guys. I mean, I do not think this game is too slow. In terms of expenses, yeah, I can see where things might be a little pricey with all the old support / new support, but that's just the way the game is. You know, they can't bring up new stuff all the time, so they have to go back to the old and revive it a little. Like Buster Blader and Blackluster Soldier, my two faves of the Warriors, you know. Blackluster Soldier was almost my very first ritual monster, and Buster Blader I got from my uncle because he's an awesome dude. So, yeah. That's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Is Yu-Gi-Oh! Still a dying game to you guys? If you guys think it is, please let me know down below why you guys think it's a dying game. If you guys don't think it is, or whether you guys do or not, just give this video a like, thumbs up. It always helps. Just to get the video out there, it always helps me. Because this is something that I want to do, just to point out all my opinions out there. And if anyone else agrees with me, just show that you agree by liking and possibly subscribing. You know, all the subscribers always help. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys later till my next rant.